streamline that whole process. The order data, the weights of the items, everything is seamlessly put into ShipStation. So when we print the shipping label, everything's pretty much done. It's so much easier. So now we're ready, bring on the orders.
ShipStation, the #1 choice of online sellers. Go to shipstation.com/try and get 2 months free.
Introducing FreePrints, the new free app that lets you get all those great photos off your iPhone or Android phone and into your hands in just days. FreePrints lets you print up to 1,000 4x6 photos a year absolutely free. All you pay is a small shipping and handling charge. It's easy. Just select the photos you want to print on your phone or on Facebook or Instagram, then choose the sizes and quantities, and you're done. The app is free, and so are the prints. Get free prints today. Just go to freeprints.tv. That's freeprints.tv.
This is CNN, the most trusted name in news.
The idea that somehow President Trump didn't know anything about this, it is patently absurd.
A lawyer for Stormy Daniels says the president must have known about a hush payment to the porn star. The White House now trying to keep this sideshow from becoming the main event.
Major confusion this morning surrounding the president's plan for tariffs. Today's rollout of those tariffs called off. A top advisor contradicting his own words, and now staffers plan for working through the night in a situation one aide calls absurd. A top advisor contradicting his own
And in
words,
defiance of the NRA, Florida lawmakers passed new legislation to curb gun violence. But will the governor sign off on the full plan? Some big steps taken down there in Florida. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Early Start after a snowy day on the East Coast. I'm Dave Briggs.
And I'm Christine Romans. Hopefully you're digging out this morning. It's Thursday, March 8th, International Women's Day, by the way. It is 4 a.m. in the East. Let's begin here in Washington with President Trump. He'll have his first chance to publicly answer questions about Stormy Daniels this morning. He'll face cameras, at least for a moment, before his 11:30 cabinet meeting. Now, whether he does or does not speak is another matter, with controversy growing over a hush money payment to the adult film star days before the 2016 election. Stormy Daniels' attorney says the president's personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, secured an arbitrator's restraining order against her. And he says Cohen is keeping up the pressure on Daniels to stay silent.
These threats continued until, in fact, only a few hours ago, when Mr. Rosen, Lawrence Rosen, the attorney who now purports to represent Mr. Cohen and the entity EC LLC, sent email correspondence to me threatening that if Ms. Daniels continues to talk, she may be subjected to significant additional damages.
The White House doing its best to downplay the story. Press Secretary Sarah Sanders saying, quote, the arbitration was won in the president's favor, to which Daniels' lawyer says, yeah, and he also won the popular vote. Ooh. Daniels' lawyer may be onto something. A copy of the restraining order obtained by CNN clearly states it is an interim order that can be modified. For more on the controversy, here's Jeff Zeleny at the White House.
Christine and Dave, the White House is dealing with a series of questions about Stormy Daniels, the adult actress and porn star, and her potential relationship with President Trump before the presidential campaign in 2016. And was there hush money that was paid to her? Now, that has been unfolding for the last several days. But at the White House press briefing on Wednesday, I asked Sarah Sanders, the White House press secretary, if President Trump knew exactly about that payment.
Did he know about that payment at the time, though?
I've addressed this as far as I can go.
But that payment, did he know about the payment at the time?
Not that I'm aware of. There was no knowledge of any payments from the president, and he's denied all of these allegations. I believe I've addressed this question pretty extensively.
So while Sarah Sanders tried to say she's answered all the questions and referred other questions to the president's outside lawyer, the fact is that questions still remain. The White House says they've been asked and answered before the election, but the reality is these are new questions because of new legal information. Certainly a busy week for the White House, and it's only Thursday. Dave and Christine.
Yes, that's right. And now it's only 4 a.m. and there's a lot of confusion this morning over the timing and details of President Trump's imminent trade announcement. He was set to sign tariffs on steel and aluminum imports today. But then as of last night, the event was not on the White House schedule. Aides still working overnight on the plan. Why? It hasn't been, the policy hasn't been finalized, including the fate of two of our biggest trading partners, Canada and Mexico. Here's trade advisor Peter Navarro last night.
The proclamation will have a clause that does not impose these tariffs immediately on Canada and Mexico.
That is different than what Peter Navarro said last weekend. He said no countries would be excluded from these tariffs. He added that it gives the U.S. time to negotiate NAFTA. The president also tied exemptions to NAFTA earlier this week. Navarro also reinforces what Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said yesterday.
There are potential carve-outs for Mexico and Canada based on national security and possibly other countries as well.
Sanders' statement helped U.S. stocks rebound. The S&P 500 flat after falling 1% earlier in the day. Wall Street, of course, fears a trade war. But it's not just investors. Trump's tariff plan faces opposition from allies, aides, fellow Republicans. And it's part of the reason Gary Cohn resigned as economic director. Many are concerned these tariffs could hurt other U.S. industries like manufacturing and agriculture, and that other countries will retaliate. In fact, China warns it will make a necessary response in the event of a trade war.
The New York Times reporting President Trump took a personal interest in conversations two of his aides had with special counsel Robert Mueller's investigators. Now, the president reportedly asked former chief of staff Reince Priebus if prosecutors had been nice to him. And he told White House counsel Don McGahn to publicly deny reports the president told him to fire Mueller, something McGahn later had to remind the president he had, in fact, done. The president's conversations with witnesses significant because it demonstrates Mr. Trump ignored legal advice to avoid the appearance of interfering with the special counsel's investigation. The Times reports the president's follow-up was not illegal, but would typically be handled by attorneys.
The Washington Post reporting this morning the special counsel has new evidence of efforts to set up a back channel between the Trump administration and the Kremlin. The information comes from Lebanese-American businessman George Nader, who is cooperating with Mueller. The Post says Nader has testified he helped set up a secret meeting in the Seychelles off the African coast days before the inauguration to discuss future relations between Russia and the U.S.
And this apparently contradicts statements to the House Intelligence Committee by a participant in the meeting, Blackwater founder and Trump associate Erik Prince. In fact, congressional Democrats believe Prince may have deliberately misled them by not mentioning George Nader's attendance at that meeting. During testimony to the House Intel Committee last November, Prince furiously denied the Seychelles meeting was an effort to set up communications between the White House and the Kremlin.
All right, President Trump will hold a video game summit at the White House today, meeting with industry representatives and critics who believe the games have made kids more violent. In the wake of the Parkland shooting, the president has suggested violence in video games is at least partly to blame for real-life violence.
The Senate Judiciary Committee is scheduled a hearing next week with a focus on Parkland and for preventing more school shootings. And just ahead of the close of their legislative session, Florida lawmakers have passed new gun violence measures, defying a big push from the NRA. More now from Athena Jones in Florida.
Good morning, Christine and Dave. The Florida House passed the school safety bill, so now it is headed to Governor Rick Scott's desk. The bill would do a number of things. It would raise the age to purchase a firearm to 21 years old from 18 years old, and it would establish a 3-day waiting period to buy a firearm with some exceptions. The bill would also ban the sale of bump fire stocks. That's the accessory that allows a semi-automatic weapon to fire more like an automatic weapon. It would give law enforcement more power to seize weapons and ammunition from those deemed mentally unfit or otherwise a threat, and it would provide additional funding for armed school resource officers and for mental health services in districts across the state. The most controversial provision in the bill would allow some teachers and other school staff to be armed as long as they go through 144 hours of training and meet other criteria. That is a provision that has gotten a lot of criticism from students and teachers from across the state, as well as from Governor Scott. He has said he is opposed to arming teachers. His office says he's also opposed to the 3-day waiting period this bill establishes. One thing that isn't clear is whether the governor would veto the bill because it includes those two provisions. Governor Scott said on Wednesday that once he receives the bill, he's going to review it line by line and talk about it with the families of Parkland victims. I should note that the governor, once he receives the bill, has 15 days to decide whether to sign it or to veto it. Otherwise, it automatically goes into effect. Christine, Dave.
Athena Jones there in Florida. Thank you. An Alabama high school will be open this morning after an on-campus shooting left one student dead and another hospitalized in critical condition. Birmingham police say the shooting at Huffman High was accidental, though. No word yet on the exact circumstances, though we do know school was placed briefly on lockdown after the gunfire. Huffman has metal detectors and school resource police officers. They were on site at the time. The girl who was killed about to turn 18, the wounded male student also 17 years old.
Has Amelia Earhart finally been identified? An American professor thinks he's cracked the mystery by challenging an 80-year-old theory.
The finest luxury items from the world's top designers, including Chanel, Louis Vuitton, Hermes, Cartier, and hundreds more. All at up to 90% off retail, and each authenticated by our team of experts. Real luxury, unreal value, only at The Real Real. Shop now and get 20% off with the code REAL at therealreal.com and in our New York City store.
My lower back was just crushing with pain.
From my back pocket to my foot was like a lava flow down that sciatic nerve.
There comes a point with chronic pain where it gets so loud in your head that it's like you can't focus on anything else.
Wherever your chronic pain is, it can be managed from here with Quell. From this optimal stimulation point, the revolutionary Quell technology accesses the central nervous system. It sends precise neural pulses to the brain that trigger your body's own natural pain blockers. Quell is 100% drug-free, FDA cleared, and doctor recommended. It can be used day and night, even while you sleep. Best of all, for 4 out of 5 people, it works.
All of a sudden, I had this aha moment that I don't feel pain anywhere in my body. Anywhere.
I'm doing things that I used to do, and I'm a happier, healthier guy. My whole life's turned around.
And 2 out of 3 people reported a reduction in their pain medications with Quell.
And she said, you know, you haven't refilled your prescriptions in a while because I have one of these.
That I can focus on my life, and I can work, and I can do things.
Quell was developed by Neurometrics with origins in the labs of MIT. Its patented neurotechnology automatically adjusts dosage to deliver optimal pain relief. Quell is easy to use and up to 10 times more powerful than ordinary TENS devices. It's strong enough to deliver widespread relief just by wearing it here, so it doesn't restrict you and you can get back to living your life. Call the number on your screen to order Quell now. We'll even include free shipping. Quell's pain-relieving effects build over time. Use daily for 30 days, and if you're not satisfied, return for a full refund. You have nothing to lose except the pain that is holding you back. Reclaim your life from chronic pain with Quell.
Call 1-800-497-9186 or go to buyquell.com to order now.
The sun used to make our outdoor deck and patio space so hot and uncomfortable, we couldn't use it.
But then we discovered the Sunsetter retractable awning. Our Sunsetter retractable awning opens and closes in just 60 seconds. It keeps our patio about 20 degrees cooler.
It provides instant shade and instant protection from the sun's harmful rays.
And our Sunsetter costs under $700.
But now you can get your Sunsetter for as little as $599 when you call now to get this special $200 discount